Hey guys, good morning. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about a project. We're going to call this a mini project that you guys are going to do for the next 2 days. And this mini project is working with functions, input output tables, graphing, the break-even point, domain range, all of these great things that we've been talking about with functions. So today is just kind of me going over what you guys can expect. Okay. This is going to take 2 days. So you get 2 days to do it. You want to make sure that you're staying diligent on doing your work and don't fall behind. And then, like I said, two days. So let me present what this is going to look like. All right, so here I can go over. This is called Functions, a Math Story. Now there's three choices. You get three choices, so I'm going to go through each one and kind of explain what you're going to be doing. But the first thing that we want to talk about are the parts of the project. So when you create this, it's going to be on poster board, and I've got a bunch of poster board over in the corner of the room by the pencil sharpener. You're probably going to need just one sheet of that paper. Um, each person should only need one. If you want to cut up more for design, that's fine with me. But we need to have a title. You need to have a graph that's showing both lines and the intersection point. Remember, the intersection point, we have been referring to that as the break-even point in class. You're going to have two functions, two function tables. Now, the function tables are input output, so that's like X and Y, and then two mappings. Okay. Then the domain and range for both functions. Remember that your domain is all of your x's, your inputs. What did we call all those? X, inputs, independent variables, and then your y's are your outputs, your y, and your dependent variables. So you're going to have those listed. And then a paragraph explaining all parts of your project, especially where the two functions meet, that break-even point, what it is and what it means. So here's the first one. It says, let's get started. This is the road trip. So this is one of your options. You and a friend of your choice are driving to Nashville in two different cars. You're traveling at 65 miles per hour, and your friend is traveling at 51 miles per hour. Your friend has a 35-minute head start. Nashville is 200 miles from Memphis. When will you catch up with your friend? So this is where you would write your function and your friend's function. Now, each one of you guys, depending on which one you pick, is going to get a sheet of paper with this on it. It's going to include a graph and some tables, I believe, so that you can start your input output. And then on a piece of construction paper provided by your teacher, you're to create a display of the following components. So this one here is showing you an example. Now this would be a 3, right? When we're working with our learning targets, a 3, 2, or 1, this is an example of a perfect one. Okay, it's got the graph in the middle. It's got the input output table for each function. It's got the functions listed. It's got this mapping of the functions. It has the domain and range for each function. And then it's got a little paragraph here that's written. Here's an example of the paragraph that the student wrote. And here is our rubric. So this is out of points. So it's out of 60 points. So if we're using a 3, 2, or 1, can't remember exactly how many total points it is, but then I'll just take those points and then take it out of a scale of 3, 2, or 1. But this is telling you everything that you've got to have on there. Okay. And like I said, this is an example of what it looks like if you have a 3. The next one is called Party Time. You've decided to hire a DJ for your upcoming block party. You have narrowed down choices down to two different DJs. The first one charges $40 as a down payment, then $25 per hour. The second DJ charges $25 down payment and $30 per hour. You can make a cool name for each DJ. When do these DJs break even? Who is cheaper if you only party 2 hours long? Who is cheaper if your party lasts $5, 5 hours long? How much cheaper? So once again, you guys will get this will be on the sheet of paper that I give you. And then this is the same thing, right? Title and decorations about DJ or music stuff. You got to have functions, two function tables, two mappings, domain and range for each one, a graph showing where the DJs are equal in price, that break even point, and then a paragraph explaining. So here's another example. Here's another example of a 3. This would get a 3, right? And you can see all of these components. the graph with the two functions. Here it has the function. Here it has the domain and range. Here is our input-output table. Here is the mapping of the function. And then they have the same thing. And then down here, they've got this really nicely written paragraph. Here's the third one. Boston Marathon. You and someone else have decided to race each other at the Boston Marathon. One of you guys runs a steady 4.2 miles per hour. He knows that your best time is 3.5 miles per hour, so he gives you a 3-mile lead. When will he catch you? By the way, the Boston Marathon is 26 total miles. Your function, their function, this is where you would graph it, and then here's a table. So the same thing as before. Here's an example of a 3. On a piece of construction paper provided by your teacher, you're to create a display including the following components: title and decorations about the Boston Marathon, functions, 2 function tables, 2 mappings, domain and range for both functions, 1 graph showing where blank will catch up with you. So this is the break-even point, and a paragraph explaining your function and your graph. Here is the rubric, and once again, I will take a total points, and I'll figure out a 3, 2, or 1. And then right here is an example. Here's an example of a 3. You got the graph. They included a little picture of themselves. Okay. A title on the graph. That looks really good. Then they have for their function, input, output, a map of the function, which is very similar to the input, output. And then down here, they have the domain and range for this one, and then the domain and range for this function, and then a really nicely written paragraph. And I forgot, up here you have the actual functions written. And so this is a good example of what I want to see from each student at the end of Wednesday. So remember, 2 days. What's hard about these projects is making sure that you stay motivated, that you keep working on it, you keep checking off each one of these things, right? Keep checking off, do I have the title? Do I have some pictures? Do I have functions? Do I have 2 function tables, 2 mappings, domain and range? Got to just keep plugging away and making sure that we don't fall behind. And that should be completed on Wednesday. Please be nice to your sub. Please work hard. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. All right. We'll talk to you guys later.